Hello, everyone, and welcome to a slightly different audio. No ASMR, just a strict Q&A. Me answering some of your questions that you have submitted. Thank you very much to everyone who took the time to do that. So I was a little bit hesitant to do a Q&A, but according to the poll that we just made, about 87% of you still wanted a Q&A this early on, so that's what we're going to do. And before we start, I just again want to give a massive thank you to everyone that has subscribed, everyone that simply just continues to listen or like or comment on the audios. You know, that means a lot. So thank you very much. So I'm going to answer some of your questions. I'm not going to do them in any kind of particular order or anything. And some questions were very similar, which just means that I'm going to compile them just a little bit. But anyway, let's get into this. Okay, Leah asked the first question. First of all, I see your comments so much in my audios, and I really appreciate you. You write some of the sweetest comments and always makes me so happy to read them. So thank you. Leah asks, and not just Leah, but also Froza Racing Legend and Alice in the Shadow Real Lamb asks very similar question. So I have compiled your question into this. Before you started doing ASMR, were you listening to others? And what is the most important advice for you that you can give us? So starting with the first question, I was listening to others. Actually, the first time I came across ASMR audios, it wasn't the role play ones. It was really the sort of tingly sounds, you know, people sitting in front of a mic, tapping their nails, brushing someone's hair and such, and that wasn't really my thing. So after having tried listening to a few of those, I kind of said, you know, ASMR isn't really my thing. And then I later on found a very different kind of ASMR, which was the role play. You know, YouTube is pretty amazing like that. It just keeps suggesting similar videos to really, and I'm very glad that it did. I listened to a lot of different VAs actually, and not sure if I should mention any names. That might be awkward. Ask for it. So I listened to Boyfriend Audio because he is an amazing writer and he has such an incredible voice. I listened to Lilac ASMR. Beautiful. Gigi X Hunter. She has one of the best voices I think I've ever heard. And Cardlin Audio. Those are some of my absolute favorites. Oh, and Noah's Haven. Let's not forget him. He does the best sleep aids. Oh my god. Okay, the second question from Leah was, what is the most important advice for you that you can give us? As far as general life advice that I try to live by myself is just to practice a little bit more kindness and less judgment. And I mean that both to the people that you meet for the first time, to the people that you know from far, long back in time. And I also mean to yourself. Be a little bit kinder to yourself. Take care of yourself. You know, body and mind. Above all, we are truly our own worst critic. We are not very kind to ourselves most of the time. So I think that is a really good thing to practice doing, being as kind as you can to yourself. and a little bit less judgmental as well. And Eleanor, I hope I'm saying that right. First of all, thank you for saying congratulations. Thank you very much. Your first question was, are you a part of the LGBTQ plus, or is it just for the role plays? It's not just for the role plays. I am, if you want to put a label on it, bisexual, and which makes me very much a part of that community. And I think this whole community in general is just really shedding a great light that, you know, sexuality is not just black and white. And I also think it really helps people to kind of understand their own sexual identity a little bit more. Because, you know, sometimes you might have these feelings that you can't really put words on, that you don't really understand. And I think seeing that other people have the same type of feelings and hearing them expressing it like this is me, you know, this is what I identify myself as, maybe other people can recognize themselves in that. Anyway, I'm rambling right now, but yes is your short answer. And do you have any siblings, you ask? I do. I have a brother. He's a little bit younger than me, about 1.5 years, which tells you absolutely nothing. He is incredible. It's funny because growing up, we were either like best friends or just kind of mortal enemies. We would play horrible, horrible pranks on one another. I specifically remember one prank that he pulled on me that I will never, ever, ever forget. He actually put, I'm not sure if you call them staplers, these kind of pins that you would pin a paper to, like some sort of board on. Help me find the word if you know what I'm talking about. But he actually put those with the needle up, one by one, just outside of my bedroom. When I woke up that morning, I am not really that big of a morning person, so I didn't look my way, and I stepped on 2 of those. The needle went straight through my heel, and I screamed bloody murder. Like, I will never forget that. That was so painful. And don't you worry when I say that, I got him back tenfold. I did so many horrible things and I always blame them on him. And usually I got away with it, so he was grounded a lot of times because of me. Side notes, all of it. Eleanor, you also ask, what is your ideal date night? That is a good question. One thing that I really, really want to do on a date, but I have yet to done, is to take a cooking class. I think there's something so intimate about cooking together, and I don't really know why. Well, I guess I do know why. I like to cook myself. I find it to be pretty relaxing, and yeah, it's just a really nice, chill activity that you can do together, and learning together just in general, I think, brings you closer. So I would definitely love to do that. Maybe then take a walk through a park or somewhere where there's really beautiful nature. And then just go home being really lazy, couch potatoes, and having some wine and lots and lots and lots of cuddles, because who doesn't love cuddles, right? You can't have a date night without cuddles. That should be like illegal, unless maybe it's like your first date and you're not super comfortable with the person. Okay, next question. Faith Stefan, that's how I would pronounce it. I hope that's right. You ask, would you be interested in doing a visual impairment audio or any disability audios? Absolutely. I haven't really done, I've done one audio like that, not about visual impairment, but one that was a little bit disability inclusive. But I would definitely love to do more of those. I would love to be more inclusive with my audios in general. So absolutely I would. And next round of questions. Please let me say this name right. I would pronounce it Michaela. Hope that's right. You were actually the one that suggested the Q&A, so thank you very, very much. And let's see, your question is, do you have any tattoos? And if not, would you get any? I don't have any tattoos at the moment. I have been thinking about it for a very, very long time, and I have yet to do it. I would actually love to get something on my wrist, because I just feel like that's something that I would be looking at every day and be reminded of. But I also hear that the wrist is one of the most painful places to get a tattoo on, and I am not great with needles, and I am not great with pain either. And those things are usually something that you have to go through when you get a tattoo. Yeah, obviously. So maybe in the future, but I would definitely need some hand holding while doing that. Michaela also asks, how tall are you? So I used a metric system, and according to that, I am 165 centimeters. Pretty average here in Sweden. And I think if you translate that to inches, it's about 5'5", maybe kind of a little bit lower than that, but yeah, somewhere around that. So Void asks the next question, in plural, I should say. What is your favorite TV show and movie? And have you ever watched Shara and the Princess of Power? Also, what color are your eyes? So, favorite TV show is a sitcom called Friends. It's pretty old right now, but you may still be able to find it. I think it's like on HBO, if I'm not mistaken. It used to be on Netflix, but it's at least not on the Swedish Netflix anymore, which saddens me so much. It's just a really feel-good show. It's a show that means a lot to me. It's actually a show that I credit to learning English a lot. I think one of the best ways to learn another language is to actually watch TV shows, movies, YouTube videos of people actually speaking that language. I actually think that's more effective than a lot of the classes I took. Anyway, so Friends is really about that. It's about friendship. It's a group of friends that live in the same apartment complex. And you kind of follow them throughout their daily life. And they all have extremely different personalities. Some are really quirky, some are just playboys, and some are really kind of obsessive, cleaning, OCD, absolutely charmers. And yeah, they're just a very different group of people that somehow remains friends through the good and the bad. It's a really good show. My favorite movie is actually a movie that I think is named in English An Unusual Friendship. It is about a disabled older gentleman that needs a caretaker. And this person that comes and interviews for the caretaker position could not be less interested in working there. He kind of has to, because he has to apply for a job, really. But these two people become the most unlikely friends and the most charismatic duo you could ever imagine. It's Such a beautiful, beautiful movie. And I love that. I also love any kind of Disney movie. And yeah, those are my favorites. I have not watched Shara and the Princess of Power. I did, however, check it out, and it seems like it's on Netflix. So I have added this to my playlist, and maybe I'll get back to you with a report. It's been a while since I watched like an animated show, so that's aside from Disney, which isn't really, yeah, Disney is like a separate category, I feel like. What color are your eyes? My eyes are blue. So, next question. A paranoid android. That is a very, very interesting name. What did you want to be when you were little? Growing up, the first thing I can remember ever like expressing to my parents that I wanted to be was a veterinarian. And that was until I found out that you would actually have to euthanize animals, which I am not personally mentally capable of doing. But that was the first thing, and I ended up not being that at all. But, you know, I think it's pretty rare that you end up becoming what your childhood dreams were. So, yeah. So, Lusty asks, any general or specific relationship advice? Oh my goodness. I like going back in time and still things that I need to remind myself of. I would really give the advice of communication, communicating your needs and your wants to your partner, and being really, really open and vulnerable. And that's extremely difficult to be. But if something is really important to you, then that's something that you need to communicate about. Open dialogue. And I also think a lot of compassion. You know, usually every single person comes with a little bit of, and I hate this word, but quote unquote baggage. You know, we've all gone through stuff that shape us in life, and that's something that will affect how we are as people. That will make us insecure about certain things and will impact how we are functioning in a relationship, really. And it's something that, again, needs to be communicated and you need to have a lot of compassion for. Also, I think showing appreciation for your partner is really, really important. Sometimes it's the little things, you know, it's just reminding them that you love them, taking their hand, giving them hugs and kisses, planning something special for them. I think that's really important. So, the next round of questions made me laugh so much because, yeah, they were interesting to say the least. And I don't even know if you're actually serious about these questions. If you are, then you are pretty awesome, to be honest. And if you're not, you're just very sarcastic, which is cool either way. But I'm gonna answer them like it's a dead serious question. Anyway. So, crow, and another word that I'm not sure if I can use on YouTube, bitch. Interesting choice of name. You ask, what is your favorite periodic element? And probably carbon. Yeah, not really sure why. Maybe because it's a part of like every single living being on this planet, really. And first of all, I read your entire first line of questions. It asks, what is your favorite periodic element and type of bandage? Is what you actually wrote. I write bondage, and for some reason I went into like, oh, covalent bonds. That's that was like the first thing that came to mind. And favorite type of bandage. I would say if you want to put a bandage of my heart, it's hugs and kisses. If you mean an actual form of a bandage to kind of, help with a little bit of pain and injury, I love those little, I think they're actually called band-aids in English though. Correct me if I'm wrong, those little sticker things. I love those that you can put on your heels when you're supposed to wear high heels. They are a lifesaver. And also when you're breaking in new shoes, buy those. Your second round of questions, oh my god. How many boards would the Mongols hoard if the Mongol horde got bored? I don't know if you just wanted me to read that out loud with a little bit of an accent, but I think, first of all, if you are really bored, then that is definitely a reason to start a hoard, and that would mean that you would have a lot of boards. And those boards would multiply into even more boards until you get really bored of those boards, and then you start to hoard something else. I hope that answered your question. And the next round of question is for Autumn Grace. What makes you want to start ASMR roleplay? Did anyone inspire you, or it just happens to be your hobby listening to ASMR and then you decided to be one? And also, what is your favorite drink? Let's start with the first question, because that is one that a lot of you asked. And I've sort of got into this a little bit before, but genuinely I started watching ASMR when I was going through a really rough spot in my depression. I've suffered with depression for many years, and I was going through a particularly rough patch, and I didn't really feel like I had anyone to confide in. I didn't want to burden my friends anymore. I didn't want to talk to my family anymore, because I figured that, I just gotta pull myself together, which is such a toxic thing to say to yourself. Yeah, and ASMR audio is what's really the one thing that actually made me feel safe and loved. And it was a little bit of like a safe haven for me during that time. And what made me want to record on my own is just remembering that feeling when I was at such a low spot, when I was in that just immense darkness and didn't really see a lot of light at all. That's what helped me. What helped me to actually move on. And I can't say that ASMR is a cure for depression. It doesn't really work like that, but it was definitely something that helped me, and I wanted to help others feel the same way. I thought that if I could help just one person feel a little bit of comfort, relaxation, to feel loved, and just like they're not alone anymore. I just think that's such a beautiful thing. I also really love writing. So those things kind of just worked out. And did anyone inspire you? A lot of people inspired me. A few of them I have mentioned before. What is your favorite drink? So there's a drink called San Francisco that's really delicious. It tastes like really fruity and sweet, and it's really good. The next round of question. Oh my goodness. Enter name 06. Very creative, by the way. You ask, how was life during COVID for you? Shit. Probably like everyone else. And I still consider myself to be one of the blessed ones, in a sense that I didn't lose anyone close to me. I watched coworkers and friends lose family members and other friends, and that was actually absolutely horrific. So I feel like I should definitely not be complaining, and my heart goes out to anyone who's been through anything like that. It's, yeah, I mean, there really are no words. The next question that you asked, I've kind of answered. What inspired you to take on ASMR content? And yeah, I feel like I've answered that. It's just really wanting to give back to a community that provided me with a lot of that feeling of being safe and loved. And next, what genre, artist, or just any song in music are you into? Right now, I have discovered an a cappella group actually that's called Voctave. And oh my god, if you haven't listened to them, do a YouTube search right now. Like, seriously, pause this audio and do a YouTube search for Voctave. They have a princess medley, Disney princess medley more specifically, and a Prince of Egypt medley. Oh my god, they have the most beautiful voices. Oh my god, I just get chills while listening to them. And yeah. Next questions comes from Melissa. Favorite singers? Right now, that's definitely Voctave. I love a Swedish artist that's called Helene Sjöholm. She has just one of the most beautiful voices you can imagine. And your second question is things that make you happy. Hugs, sweet comments from you guys, cuddle and kiss my two pets. I have two little bunnies, and oh my god, I love them so much. And what else makes me happy? Listening to ASMR. The smell of coffee in the morning. Oh my god, that's a good one. Lots of things make me happy, but those are a few ones. Your third question, going out or staying in? Generally, I would say staying in. I definitely prefer more home parties, inviting friends over to my place or going over to someone else's place than going out to a bar or a club or something like that. But it's definitely fun to do that every once in a while. So, next round of questions. Jay. If you could go anywhere in the world, where would you go? Do you have any hyper fixations or anything of that nature? If I could go anywhere in the world, I have a lot of places that I have not been to. I have not traveled very much at all. Let's see, I've been to Denmark, Iceland, Turkey, Mallorca, Puerto Rico, and that's it. So I would really, really love to visit Italy. I would love to go to France, to London. Is very, very high up on my bucket list. And I would also love to visit New York and really a lot of places in the US that, yeah, lots to look forward to, I think. Maybe once the world is calming down just a little bit. So let's see, Noelle Dressery. You're also one of the people that leaves super, super sweet comments, so thank you. You say, do you collect rocks or any shiny trinkets? If so, do you have a favorite? I do not. I used to collect rocks when I was younger. Whenever I would go abroad, I would bring rocks or seashells and such. But I don't really collect anything anymore. Your second question I had answered just recently. What songs have you been listening to on repeat? Anything with Octave, and specifically the Disney Princess medley. I have replayed so many times. You also ask, do you play video games? And if so, which is your favorite game? My favorite game of all time is The Witcher. Oh my god, it's such a good game. The dialogue, the storytelling, the characters, it's a masterpiece. It really, really is. And I love video games just in general. I don't play a lot nowadays, and when I play, it's always on PC. I used to play The Sims a lot, and a long time ago, I used to do World of Warcraft. I also used to do Mario Kart a little bit, but it was quite a long time ago. Yeah, let's see. Have I answered all your questions, maybe? I feel like I've missed one. Ah, I knew it. Larry. I've seen you follow this channel for a very, very long time. And first of all, thank you very, very much for being so supportive. And you ask, what is your favorite NFL team? What do you think of Lamar Jackson? And have you ever been to Baltimore? I am going to make you massively disappointed right now, Larry. I am not into sports whatsoever. I know an embarrassingly little about sports just in general, and especially when it comes to American teams. Like, I can't even keep up with like my local Swedish ones. So I will, out of respect for them, not go into details about this, because I would definitely make a fool of myself. Have you ever been to Baltimore? I have not been to Baltimore. I haven't really been traveling a lot, but I don't know, maybe in the future. Maybe you can tell me what's specifically awesome about Baltimore. You know, does it have a really beautiful nature? What can you do there? What do you like to do there? Yeah, maybe give me some inspiration and I can write that up on my bucket list. So I think I have answered all of your questions, and I therefore think this is where we end this little Q&A. I just, again, wanted to say a massive thank you. Above asking a lot of questions, the people who submitted these questions also left really, really sweet comments telling me how they found a lot of comfort in the audios and that it's helped them through rough patches. And that makes me very, very happy to hear. Know that even if I didn't read your entire comments out loud, due to really trying to keep this audio a little bit, due to not dragging it out way too much, I should probably say. I really, really appreciate it. And all of those beautiful words really do warm my heart. Like, you have no idea how many times you have made me grin like a fool just by reading the comments. So thank you all very, very much for being so sweet to me. And I hope you have enjoyed listening to this Q&A. I really enjoyed answering your questions. Maybe we can do another one a little bit further into the future. And I hope you have a really, really awesome day, night, afternoon, or whatever time it is when you're listening to this. And yeah, have a really, really great one.